Hey everyone, I'm back from my trip, and I brought a mystery bag. What could it be? Let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. I'm a composer, now also booktuber. You can find my music in the Wheel of Time Season 2 and 3, His Dark Materials Season 3, and the newly released Blessed Be the Eternal, the Edan Trilogy main theme for Philip Chase's most awesome fantasy trilogy. How is everyone doing, folks? It is so good to see you again. I saw you, I guess, on Thursday virtually through a video I had pre-planned, but I'm actually making one, having come back from the trip, and I gotta say, a week without making videos, I've really missed it. I missed you guys. I've been wanting to know how you all have been. I've been very lax on the Discord lately and on the FABLE app, but I've been reading some books, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. We're also gonna get to that mystery bag I just showed you, because that kind of alludes to a little bit of a book haul situation that may or may not have happened. I'm not gonna confirm or deny these allegations. In my quest to try to stop buying as many books, sometimes you win some, you lose some, but sometimes you still come out ahead. So we're going to talk about all that and more. If you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. And now on to the books. So this week, even though I was up at GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference up in San Francisco, and I had meetings and I was meeting a lot of people basically from Tuesday through Friday, starting at 8 a.m. and ending close to midnight every day, I still somehow found a time to read books where I could. I would take my Kindle to the show floor, and if I had a free moment, I would pick it up and look at a couple pages. I read at my parents' place when I was up there, which we went there after the convention concluded. So reading did happen, rest assured. So let's talk a little bit about that. The first book I read was James Michener's Alaska. Now, historical fiction fans can rejoice if you want a book that talks about not only the culture of it, the history of it, but also it forming as a landmass. The first humans who crossed the Bering Strait, now known as the Bering Strait, at that time was just a piece of land that was 60 miles across, that they didn't know that it was even a strait, right? They were just looking for more food. And they crossed 29,000 years ago, and the rest is history from Asia. And so very interesting book. It also puts in the POVs of like a woolly mammoth, the POV of the first humans, and it's riveting throughout. I don't know how James Michener does it. He's just really good as at writing characters that you care about, even if they're on the page for a short amount of time. It's really cool how he does it. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend Alaska as a good place to start. And in fact, James Michener has written a ton of other books kind of similar to that ilk. One about Texas, one about South Pacific, one about South Africa, one about Afghanistan, one about there's a bunch of them. Hawaii he also did. So there's a ton of different ones he's done, and I plan to read them all, just given these couple hundred pages I've read so far of this book. So I did get a chance to read 100 more pages while I was up north, and that leads me to 200 pages out of like 1,100. So I got a ways to go, but I'm not going to rush this one. I think even if it takes a few months to get through, I'd rather take my time with it because it's an enjoyable ride and an enjoyable read. So that was the first book I read. The second book is Of Blood and Fire, book 1 of Ryan Cahill's The Bound and the Broken. Now, going into the series, I was told to read The Fall, the prequel novella first, and that's what we did with our soft read along because, you kind of sometimes want to get into a series thrown into the mix, action-packed, and you kind of figure it out as it goes, right? So that's kind of precisely what we did, and I'm really glad we did that because the 120 so odd page novella ended up being just a fast-paced thrill ride, and you get a lot of the lore and stuff like that without knowing the back history of it, right? Of Blood and Fire, I was warned repeatedly that, hey, this is the weaker point in the series. It is very tropey. It is very slow. It takes time to get going. As someone who actually likes slow books, I read all of the Wheel of Time, so I like things that take its time, right? So, I was kind of still trepidous about how I would feel about it. And I gotta say, like, if you like some of the tropes, if they are an enjoyable, cozy, and familiar read, I would highly recommend you check out The Bound and the Broken, because if this is the weakest entry, I couldn't put it down. I think I mentioned to you last time, I read, like, a third of the book in one day, right? And this is like a 600-page book almost. So no slouch on that. And I'm not the fastest reader in the world, but I just was flying through those pages. I just couldn't stop myself. And so I kept reading, and I actually finished the entire book over this time, which I couldn't believe it, especially being as busy as I was. So it's just one of those books that gets its hooks in you, and even though the characters are really predictable, it's fun. You enjoy the ride. You kind of don't care. His prose is very accessible. Some people will say, oh, it's not as flowery as Robert Jordan's, say, or as, kind of mature as Guy Gavriel Kay or something like that. But I don't really care, because it was great. It was fun. And I will say that if you've read The Wheel of Time, you might feel a sense of deja vu, because it does feel like The Wheel of Time Light, or Wheel of Time 2.0. But that was kind of, maybe I was just in the mood to read that. So I really enjoyed it. And I've heard that the second book of Darkness and Light, which we're actually reading in our soft read along next month in April, more on that later. But if that's the book where the entire series takes a left turn, starts to become its own thing. So if I liked it as much as I did this time around, I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of how I feel about it. Are any of you reading Bound of the Broken? I think Alicia is reading it alongside me. A couple other people, if I remember correctly. I would love to know. Leave it in the comments, because let's rally and enjoy some the next entry in the series together. At that point, by the way, if you want to join any of the read-alongs I mentioned on the channel, it's open to all, free for all. Discord is a great place to start, because you could see the read-along schedule there, and it's updated now as of this taping, because we shifted some things around. Also, there are some kind of categories per book series and per book. And if you want a more deep kind of dive into it, but without the back and forth conversation that comes so easily on Discord, you can also check out the FABLE app, where you can do a chapter by chapter kind of talk through, which is really fun for a lot of people too. So pick your poison, as I would say. So that was the second thing I read. The third thing I was actually a little iffy on to start, and I hesitate to say that because Stephen King is my favorite author of all time. I have a whole shelf dedicated to the man, as I like to say, and I'm on a quest to read all his books, including Night Shift, his first short story collection. I believe it came out in 1978, and it came out around the time of The Shining, or right after that. It was his first short story collection, and people say it's his best, so I went in with high expectations. I read Jerusalem's Lot. I really liked it. I read a couple other ones after that, wasn't too keen on it, and I read a couple more short stories after that, and I was still not keen on it, you guys, and I was getting a little worried. I was like, is this one of the duds? I can't believe it. Against all popular opinion, can it be? And then I read The Mangler, followed by The Boogeyman, back to back. And there was another one in there that was, I think it was called I Am the Doorway, which, if you like The Dark Tower and you like kind of trippy stuff like that, something about aliens, and I don't want to give too much away, that is a great short story. Then I read The Mangler, and I thought, like, an idea as dumb sounding on the outset as like a giant ironing press, like an industrial laundry press, being like a killer machine or something, sounds kind of stupid in some ways. It could be hokey if it was done by any less than experienced writer, but Stephen King knows how to make it terrifying again, and he makes that stuff visceral. The descriptions in it are pretty horrifying, and it is pretty bone-chilling. It's pretty scary. So I would say that one's great. I think The Boogeyman kind of tackles guilt, and the idea of a protectiveness of a parent over their kids. It was kind of a little bit of a different dynamic than what I expected it would be. Again, The Boogeyman doesn't sound like something I, in adulthood, would be as, scared of, but Stephen King finds a way to make it scary. So I'm immediately more excited about this collection now. And if this is any kind of indication, I guess you could say, of what's to come, then I think this is going to actually end up surpassing some of the other short story collections I read. So I'm very excited about that. It feels very classic King now. Just a couple of them in between that I felt like wasn't too quite sure about them. But so I've read about 40% of that one so far. So pretty good reading week, I would say, all things considered. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to read this coming week. So this week, I have a couple things in mind. I want to finish Night Shift by Stephen King. I think I could get through 60% of a 300-page book, given what my reading kind of pace has been for the last few weeks. So I feel confident in that. I'm excited for that. And then, of course, I need to dip back into, and I need to give my full attention, of course. Whenever you read a book by Jenny Wirtz, you need to give it your full attention. But you're always rewarded in spades, and that is Ships of Merior, which, look at that beautiful, beautiful cover. Oh, man. And, you know, she's a phenomenal illustrator. She illustrated this. I just have to make sure you know the majesty of her work, both writing-wise and also picture-wise. But this is actually 2 books, this particular edition. It is books 2 and 3, Ships of Merior, and then also War Host of Vastmark. So I want to finish Ships of Merior, so the first half of this volume by the end of the month, or maybe let it spill into April a little bit if I need to. But I really want to give this my priority because I really enjoy every time I get to just go, it's Jenny Wirtz or bust, you know. So I'm going to definitely spend a few days just on that and try to get that accomplished, I guess. I got a ways to go, you guys. So let's see how I do. And I've been loving it so far, though. I think, you know, a couple weekly updates ago, I really kind of talked about it more in depth. But I think I like this already more than Curse of the Mistwraith. I think the characters are more interesting. You're seeing it from different POVs than in Curse of the Mistwraith. About Erathon and Lysair. You're seeing it through Dakar's, the Mad Prophet's perspective. That's kind of cool. I'm really liking Jenny Wirtz's writing style in this. It feels even more direct, and maybe it's just I'm used to it. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's grabbed hold of me, and I know that it's not going to let go until I'm done. So time to get to work. So that's the other one I'm going to read. And the last one, I want to finish this if I can. I might even just make it a binge on the weekend, is A Journey Thrice Begun by Sean Bobby Kerr. Now, I read about half of this previously, and things got a little bit sidelined. So, Sean, thank you so much for your patience, man, because you kindly sent me this Kindle copy, and I've taken my time with it. But please rest assured, I've been really enjoying the ride. It is actually a debut fantasy author, you guys, and a wonderful, wonderful human being. So I'm leaving the link to that as I leave all these links in the description, so you can check it out. But I highly recommend if you like kind of a mixture of cozy fantasy, but then the world opens into this darker thing, but with a sense of humor that's really, really fun. It makes you, even from the first few pages, you really feel that. It's very apparent. So I've been really having a good time with it. I can't wait to finish it. And so definitely check it out. Give it a try if you haven't already. Yeah, and it's on Kindle. It's very easy to get there. So the link is down below. Let's talk about this week on the channel. So not much happened. I'm still at 1073 subscribers, or I should say we. And so subscriber growth has slowed down this last week. And of course, naturally, I put out less content. I've been up north for GDC and stuff, and I've been a little bit less engaged in the comment sections. It's taken me a couple days at a time rather than a couple hours to answer a comment because of that. So thank you so much for your patience, you guys. I'm glad to be back. I really have missed you all. So I'm excited to be able to do much more. But I did put together a video I'm very proud of, even if it got like one of the lowest viewerships, I guess, on the channel. It's, I think, sitting at 80 views right now, but it is a review of 1984 and talking about how George Orwell kind of predicted the future, but what does that mean for 2025? Where do we go from here as a society? Was it a cautionary tale, or is it a sign of things to come? So I kind of talk a little bit about that. I had some music in there, sound effects, some imagery, and so I really worked hard at that. And if you've been curious about 1984, or if you have read it and you just kind of want a nice little breakdown that is spoiler free and spoiler filled, you can check that out up here at the link below, above here. And I would love to know if you get a chance to watch it, what you think. And the people who did comment seemed really into it, so I'm very glad. And you know, sometimes the algorithm gods don't favor you as highly, but that's okay. The dance continues, and it is always fun to chat with you no matter what happens. That's why I do this. I love chatting with you all. It's the highlight for me. You know, I really feel like I get antsy if I don't get a chance to put out another video, chat with you all in the comments or in the Discord and stuff. So thank you for, you know, coming along the ride with me. So let's talk a little bit about the channel schedule. So I'm going to do 2 videos in addition to this reading roundup. And the first video I'm going to do probably on Wednesday is my April TBR. And I like to put this up a few days early so that anyone who wants to read along can plan accordingly. And I'm also going to put up a Dead House Gates, Book 2 of Malazan Book of the Fallen review, spoiler free and spoiler filled. For those of you who are on the official channel read along, I think there's 50 people on FABLE right now, bunch on Discord, And so a lot of people are reading it along, and it's been really fun. I think the Gardens of the Moon one got a lot of good response from people, and I think they appreciated who are reading along or who are just interested in it, what this book is all about. What makes it so good? Is it better than Gardens of the Moon, the Dead House Gates? So I kind of wanted to do another video in that vein. If you haven't checked out the Gardens of the Moon one, you want to check it out. You can check it out up here, and I make sure to delineate whenever there's spoilers because, for me, and I think for all of you, books are sacred. It's an experience. It's an adventure. It's an escape. And I don't want to ever, ever spoil that magic for someone. So it's very important to me that I try to be as reticent about revealing spoilers and about as cautious about that. So, anything I can do to help further that cause. So I'll always keep doing that. So you can check that Gardens of the Moon up there. And on Saturday, I believe it is at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time till 10:30. I am going to be on Bookish Chaz's channel for Chaz and Friends discussion, where we get to talk about all things books, Booktube, and chat with the community in the live stream. Now, I love Chaz. He is an amazing human being. He has a fantastic channel. I really enjoy his videos, and I just love the way he talks about books. So if you haven't checked out his channel, you must, absolutely must. After this video, just click onto his channel and check it out because I think you'd really like it. And he has a lot of tastes that are aligned with me, actually. We get along really well in terms of we seem to have a lot of very similar tastes in books. So it's really fun to chat with each other. We've gotten a chance to do a live stream here and there, and I'm very excited to be able to, chat with him more in depth about all things books, and it's going to be a free form discussion. So I will keep, put a community post as soon as we get the thumbnail and everything set. But I'm very excited to chat with you. Chaz, thank you so much for having me on the channel. And I hope you all enjoy it. And I hope you'll join us on Saturday morning. So let's talk a little bit about the music front, because it was an interesting music front. So Hills of Tenchiko, the official Wheel of Time Season 3 song I wrote for the actors that are singing in a musical number in an upcoming episode, is officially out on the soundtrack album released by Sony Music. It was a very momentous occasion for me because Lorne thankfully gave me solo credit for it because I was a sole composer. It was very nice of him to do that, though, because a lot of composers don't do that for the people who work for them. So I'm very grateful to Lorne. Thank you if you're watching this. On the off chance you would ever be watching this, but so it's been really fun because I'm seeing fan theories of who's singing on it. Oh, I think I hear this person. Does that mean that they're singing? And then they'll try to look at my reply history on X or Blue Sky or something like that to try to figure out the details. I've never been part of a mystery like that before. So it's pretty fun. It's really sweet. I just love the Wheel of Time community, You guys are awesome. Just a wonderful, loving community of people who are so passionate, obsessive about their books, and as I am. So, that's been really, really fun. And I'll keep you posted when I can reveal which episode it's going to be. But keep an eye out for it in the next couple weeks is all I'm going to say. Very excited to be able to reveal more. So, as I mentioned, I went up to GDC, Game Developers Conference, where 60,000 game aficionados and companies, big and small, all congregate in San Francisco for a week. And it was back-to-back meetings, you guys. I mean, it was meeting with music supervisors, audio directors of game studios, indie game developers. My wife, Linda, went up as well with her team at the company Cursed Magic, which she co-founded and is the lead producer of. And they're working on the first game, Magical Rejects, which is kind of a Sailor Moon-inspired, Japanese anime-inspired game. So very excited about all that, and I am graciously been offered to be the composer, which, of course, is my wife, but I never take those things for granted. So it's very exciting to be able to work together now on an official capacity. And I went there with a Cursed Magic hoodie, also repping the company too. So it was fun, but not a lot of sleep, you guys. I slept we'd get back to the hotel around midnight, wake up at 8 a.m. and do it all over again. And we're meetings from 9 a.m. onwards. So it was pretty crazy. And then I got a chance to spend a little bit of time at my parents' place. And I guess this is not really on the music front, but this is kind of a haul section that I'm putting here, so I'm just going to delineate that. But we went to an independent bookstore in San Jose. I forget what the name is now, but I'm going to flash the picture and the name here so you can check it out. And on the off chance you're ever in San Jose for some reason. But man, it was bumping, and it was probably one of the best indie bookstores I've been to in my life, you guys. They had shelf after shelf of all the stuff that we all like to read, that we talk about on these channels. used copies for really cheap and great condition hardcovers, like stuff that is hard to find. And it's like, oh, you want James Michener? Pick your poison. You want Ken Follett? All these first edition hardcovers. It's like, it was incredible, you guys. So I'm going to open up the bag now and show you one by one what I got here. So think of this as a mini haul video because, again, like I mentioned, I'm trying not to do too many hauls because I don't want to promote too much book buying and also, you know, kind of hide how much books I've been buying, even though I wasn't supposed to lately. But hey, who said anything? I didn't. Maybe it was just the wind. Let's take a look at these books. This one is Norwegian Wood. So I know nothing about Haruki Murakami except so many people praise him on Booktube, and I've been very much looking forward to a shorter read amongst all the chunky books. This one is shy of 300 pages. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Let me know if you've read it, because I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are if you have. This one I'm kind of cheating is I'm showing Linda's purchase, her one purchase that she made, because it's also kind of Booktube adjacent. But this is Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. Love is a double-edged sword. I gotta say, this cover is freaking phenomenal. I don't know if you could see that or if it's a little blurry, but sprayed edges, the whole shebang. It's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Know nothing about it, but I have read... what was that T. Kingfisher book? What Moves the Dead, I think. And I love that. So I'm looking forward to reading more T. Kingfisher. But beautiful, beautiful copy. I was very excited about this. So I curbed my enthusiasm a little bit. Didn't buy the whole store. I only bought 3 books here. So mini haul. The first one is Ken Follett's The Key to Rebecca. Now, I haven't seen these hardcovers out in the wild before, ever. But... really, really cool. Good condition. It's like $7-8, you know. Not bad. It is a World War II story, I believe. And I've heard it's one of his better ones. So I'm excited again. Shorter Ken Follett book. Kind of cool. So I'm very excited about checking that out. The second one is also Ken Follett and another shorter book. Now this one I've also heard good things about. I think I heard about it from Brian Lee Durfee, which again, an amazing channel. Love that guy. Love watching his videos. But this one is Lie Down with Lions. I think I've heard about this maybe from, could it be also Josh from Red Fury Books, perhaps? But yeah, no, it's supposed to be another great one of his. He's a lot younger than this, so I assume this is one of his earlier entries. And then the last thing I got, but definitely not least, is Edward Rutherford's New York. Kind of a historical fiction that takes place in New York. I know nothing about this. I actually own 3 Edward Rutherford books. China, Ruska, about Russia, and then now New York. And it seems like I'm getting obsessed with historical fiction, and I just can't do anything halfway, you guys. If I fall in love with something, I fall hard. And I'm excited to check out Edward Rutherford's books. Of these 3, if you've read any Edward Rutherford, I would love to know where you think I should start. So, I blattered on quite a bit, but I would like to know what is always more important to me than what I read. Which is, what did you read? Anything cool happened to you this week? It's been a while since we spoke. I've missed you all. And I'm really looking forward to kind of having that dialogue with you all and hearing what you all read, what anything interesting happened to you this week. Anything that you agree or disagree with. I love contrarian points of view as much as things that agree with me. I would love to know a new vantage point about any of these books or anything else that I've talked about, you know? It's always fun to make friends from all across the world that has that book reading obsession like I do. And I'm always down for that ride. So I'm Nick Hill with Shelf-Esteem. Thank you again for being here. It is you all that keep me going. And it makes the fire and passion for reading burn that much more intensely. Love you all. I will see you on the next video. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and take care.